class, and welcome to another Regal Mystery Movie Review. Today's movie played on May 19th.
Mr. Gremlin?
Yes, Mara?
I would like to have that marker.
No, Mara, I'm using this marker for today's presentation, okay? So you have to wait till after we're done, alright? So today's movie played on May 9th.
No.
Okay, there are hundreds of people watching this video right now, okay? We gotta make sure that we finish this first, and then we can move on to the art project. Mara, don't. Mara, don't. Oh, Mara, please. No. Take the marker. Take it, please.
Thanks.
Okay, so, alright, so Mara can do her art, and we will talk about the movie that played on May 19th, 2025. And the movie was Bring Her Back. After the death of their father, two siblings are placed in foster care, but their new foster mother is hiding a dark secret. They must escape their new home before it becomes their mausoleum.
Rated R.
Billy Barrett plays Andy, the older brother of Piper. Andy feels that he needs to protect his stepsister at all times, but he has his own trauma that creeps back up from his childhood. I think Billy does a great job of bringing raw emotion to the role. His emotional terror was palpable. Sora Wong plays Piper, the younger sister of Andy. Both the actress and the character are visually impaired. It's noted that Piper can only see some shapes, colors, and lights. This is also Sora's first movie, and I think she does a fine job. I like the switches of her more independent attitude and her need to be cared for. Sally Hawkins plays Laura, the foster mother who takes in Andy and Piper. She seems like a friendly, fun-loving woman, but she harbors a dark secret. Sally Hawkins gives a great performance jumping between these two personalities. The way that she would shift skins was so subtle. Laura was a caring menace throughout most of the film. Jonah Wren Phillips plays Oliver, or Ollie, another child that's being fostered by Laura. It's obvious from the beginning that Ollie's going to be a catalyst of some sort for the horror. While his role is mostly silent, pretty much just standing around and staring creepily, he definitely brings a sense of tension throughout the film. On the few occasions that he does speak, Jonah pulls from some guttural emotion I didn't think was possible from somebody so young. The movie opens on some strange found camera footage that depicts violent acts. More of this footage will be seen throughout the film to fill in the blanks of the plot. We then switch gears and are introduced to Andy and Piper. When their father dies suddenly, they are put into a foster home with Laura and Ollie. As I mentioned earlier, Laura has a kind facade that cracks pretty quickly. She is still grieving the loss of her own daughter. And I'm sure you can tell from the title of the movie that her goal is to bring her back from the dead. It's a pretty obvious setup, but what follows is a twisted, dark, and heavy film that will stay with you after the credits have rolled. My theater was dead silent afterwards. People just picked up their stuff and walked out. There are some really heavy themes throughout this film. We see the loss of a parent, the loss of a child, grieving, abuse, and prejudice. These themes aren't new for the horror genre. In fact, this kind of tale has been told before. A grieving parent who is looking to replace their lost child. Children finding solace in an adult that they shouldn't. And a creepy kid character that brings it all together. Now, I'm not saying that Bring Her Back is a ripoff of any other film. It's very much its own horror film. The story is solid, though for me, it's a little light in some areas. There were a few times I was looking for more information, but the plot moved on. You know me, I'm always a sucker for all the little details. But overall, it's a tight, succinct, and all-encompassing film. I mentioned before that Sally Hawkins does a great job as the mourning mother, Laura. And she really was spectacular, but I have to say, I didn't like her. I feel like the film's creators wanted us to sympathize with her on some level, but I couldn't. Yes, it's devastating to lose a child, and Laura never properly processed her grief, despite being a counselor. But it doesn't justify her actions against these two innocent children. Think about it, these two children just lost their last parent, and they are being placed in her home in hopes of gaining some type of stability again. And from the first time they meet, she's off. There's a scene in the trailer that shows a stuffed dog. As Piper goes to pet it, Laura snarls and barks, scaring her. Now they do chuckle about it, but Andy doesn't, and neither did I. And you can call me sensitive if you want, but I feel like if you're bringing a visually impaired child into your home, you should probably build up some trust before you start pulling pranks.
Come on, man.
To me, it was a hint of the cruelty that was to come. And man, does it come. Laura plays Andy and the foster care system so well. We get a glimpse of some of the things that she does to terrorize him. But I wanted more, and not more terrorizing. I wanted more details about what she was doing. Some things were alluded to, but not explained. And I feel in doing that, we miss out on some additional information that could have added more depth to the situation. It could have also helped humanize Laura more. Maybe she could have been more genuine in the beginning. Or maybe she could have shown more remorse for her actions. The acting was great, it just needed more balance if she's supposed to be a more sympathetic character. The visuals in the movie really stood out to me. Most of the film takes place in Laura's home. It feels cozy and lived in. It also feels somber considering its history. There are some really cool camera movements throughout. One in particular is shown in the trailer. Laura makes a circular motion with her hand and the camera follows her hand, but once she reaches back to her face, the camera focuses in on that. There's always some camera play when showing things that Piper can't see. It's a way for the audience to also be in the dark about some things. Bring Her Back also focuses on using practical effects over CGI. Now I'll be honest, I actually didn't really notice any CGI in the film. That doesn't mean it wasn't there, it just means it wasn't noticeable, which is a good thing. But man, some of these scenes were brutal. There was one scene in particular that just made my skin crawl. And that's not something I say very often. I watch tons of horror and nothing really grosses me out. But this scene with the great special effects and the realistic noises, it just bugs me to even think about it. And there's another scene after that that made me uncomfortable too. It's a type of scene that's going to leave a real big impression on you, and it may or may not make you ever want to watch the movie again. Of course, gross out stuff alone doesn't make a great movie. I think when things like this are done and the audience is actually in shock and not laughing, then it's done right. Because sometimes a character can get hurt in a way that elicits laughter. And there was a scene like that in this movie, and to my surprise, no one laughed. Maybe it's a sign of media maturity. Or maybe people were just so beaten down by the heavy themes that they just couldn't even muster a laugh. And mind you, it's not supposed to be funny, it's just a scene that somebody might think is funny. The pacing was a little uneven. In the beginning, there's more of a consistent build-up, but once Laura's facade cracks, then things get to be a bit more erratic. Perhaps this was done to show how Laura is struggling to maintain control over the situation as it's going awry. But there were parts that felt too slow, especially considering how far along in the plot we were. There was also something that I would consider a very noticeable plot hole. Now perhaps I'm just applying my American standards to this Australian film. And if that's the case, feel free to correct me down in the comments. Andy attempts to get help from the social worker who assigned him to Laura's house. Given the violent nature of his claims, the police are present the whole time. However, the police don't go on this wellness check. Again, maybe Australian police don't go on those kind of calls. I was just expecting them to go too. And of course, in their absence, many other horrific things occur. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the soundtrack. There's a good mix of pop culture songs and classical horror music. And there is Empire of the Sun, one of my favorite bands. The song that is played is called Alive from the 2013 album Ice on the Dune. Check it out. Bring Her Back as a welcome addition to the world of horror. The heavy themes, practical effects, and overall spooky atmosphere really push the envelope. But some pacing issues, an unsympathetic antagonist, and possible plot holes keep it just a little too sealed. And that is why I'm giving the Regal mystery movie Bring Her Back the resurrecting score of 8.5 out of 10. I was genuinely surprised by this film. I never saw the trailer, I only heard about it in passing. It does make me curious about the Philippou Brothers' other film, Talk to Me, which is currently sitting in my bargain bin bag. So class, what do we think about the Regal mystery movie? Go ahead and crawl into the comments section and let me know what you thought about it. And don't forget to like and subscribe because that's the only way to complete the ritual.
Mr. Gremlin,
Yes, Laura?
I would like your phone now.
No, Mar, we don't have tech time right now, I'm sorry. Okay, Mar, here. Take my phone. Just don't use up all my lives on Candy Crush. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.